Welcome to Hattage Underground, everybody. This is the mighty Meta Baron.
Voice the villain.
Carl Cutter.
We want to welcome everybody to the first of the month show. This is the first of the month show.
Oh, yeah, let's
give
go.
it up.
Wake up.
Shout out to Bone Thugs for lacing us with the legendary welfare carol. And shout out to Chris Rock for coining the term
Welfare carol.
welfare carol.
Damn it.
Damn
We
it,
are
Chris.
almost Cinco de Mayo.
Almost Cinco de Mayo, aka, especially this year, the day that we get to see all you delicious ass Trump tards turn in your whole ass hypocrite card as you go get sloshed on motherfucking Coronas and taquitos and margaritas. Bless your hypocrite ass hearts. I want to see how the Mexicans is gonna handle Cinco de Mayo this year.
Viva la Trump.
Having grown up in Southwest Detroit, I'm very, very familiar with, now I can't even say Latino culture, specifically Mexican culture. Where I grew up, there were a lot of, Honduras and El Salvadorians. And by a lot, I mean there were a few, mostly Mexicans stay in Southwest Detroit. But it's just going to be interesting this year to see how that's handled. I think that they want y'all to show up this year.
I would love
And if all you motherfuckers go home with Montezuma's revenge, you ain't got nobody.
Make America great again,
They gonna be
poncho.
poisoning the motherfuckers.
What if they had that? A Make America Great Again poncho.
That's going to be excellent. I want to see how that works. But on
Will
to
it have a hood?
hopefully a hood and a sombrero,
Oh
a
man.
red, white, and blue poncho.
Oh man.
But
Like the Great White Knight.
It'd be great.
it'll be great.
Be huge.
I tell you what's not great though. The first topic we opening up on some heavy shit. Now this is something that we've touched on in a couple of other shows, but it just seems to be a consistent topic and theme throughout the shows. Fucking Facebook Live and death.
We live?
Niggas is getting pieced up at astronomical rates on
Jesus.
Facebook. It's the new.
That's how we started?
That shouldn't be funny, but it is.
I mean, it is what it is, and a part of me wants to believe that Facebook is not helping. Like, when we all been on the internet for a long time, videos don't just get uploaded and approved in real time. Like, somebody with their finger on a button exists on the other side of the screen that can shut your shit down at any time.
Yeah.
So why does it take days, if not weeks, to shut down brutal beatings? There was a motherfucking rape video in Chicago with some
I seen
motherfucking
that
scumbags.
Nigga, I got shit shut down on Facebook. I'm like, I wasn't even doing nothing. They came and got my video, but you showing niggas getting shot in the face on Facebook and motherfuckers.
It's dangerous.
I've had decapitation show up in my Facebook feed and reported it didn't nothing happen.
I get
Child porn showed up in the nigga's Facebook
mad too
feed.
before. And I'm just showing memes and shit.
Only time I think it
Feminists and shit.
benefits is like when they put up old throwback movies or like pay-per-view events.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm like, all right, I'm for it. But
Right.
that whole like the suicides,
And the rapes.
the rapes. But I think that like you kind of touched on it earlier. It was like, is Facebook becoming the new world star?
I was thinking about that. We were having this conversation earlier where ever since Q died, market share for World Star has gone down, creative control has been going into a bunch of other hands, and now Facebook is offering a platform
Yeah.
that was once exclusive to World Star.
You know, white people love getting money off of the suffering of black people anyway.
Black misery is the most lucrative enterprise in the history of the American nation.
Yeah, so they like, that nigga dead, so we might as well take over, get paid off this shit. We live, baby.
And I mean, the fucked up part about it is there are actually more hoops that you have to go through to get your shit
Really?
uploaded to World Star than it is with Facebook.
I've never uploaded. So what
you
if
gotta
I
do?
wanted to upload on
You
World
have
Star?
to.
What would I need?
If you upload on World Star, you have to have an account on World Star, and your account has to be in good standing. So no troll shit, none of that other stuff. And then it's a few other things.
I didn't
But with
know that.
Facebook, you could set up God knows how many dummy accounts and fake Facebook pages because World Star's a lot smaller. It's more closely monitored.
I never knew that.
Also,
I thought you could just put up whatever as long as it was a fight comp or titties.
Somebody got to look at it.
Somebody got to look at it. Also, World Star does not have a marketplace feature. It's niggas selling pussy, dinners, weed, old motherfucking tires,
So
and
it's
everything.
like Backpage.
Facebook is consolidating all of the fuck shit. The back page, the World Star fight nigga shit, all
They're taking
that.
over everything. They want a piece of every guy.
And because all the media outlets need need Facebook
for marketing.
they feed right into the machine.
Wow. So we might see a Mark Zuckerberg turn up at Magic City with a Facebook.
Why not?
With bottles popping.
You done already came to work a blue collar job one day, Zuck. You may as well go and get your knuckles stinking.
Might as well.
Get you some bitches.
And have people yelling out Facebook. That'd be great.
You know, he can. All that shit is a tax write off. Let's say he throw $100,000. He put them niggas in some new school clothes.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't think he like niggas though. I don't think.
You gotta like them.
Niggas don't like niggas, as evidenced by the Stevie Steve situation and the blowback of that. Stevie Steve is the motherfucker that killed himself over the Broad in Cleveland, Ohio. I believe we touched on this in another show. But he killed another black man, and what Facebook was the chief advocate of spreading all of the slander about, or you know what? Facebook didn't spread the slander. They allowed the slander to be spread about the fucking victim and airing out his personal business. And then most recently, you got 2 Native American teenagers that are responsible for the brutal beating and death of a girl on Facebook Live, to the point where the girl was obviously down initially in the beginning of the video, but they were going in on her, stomping on her face.
So was she Hispanic? She Hispanic?
She was Native American.
Native American. Oh, okay.
Was it other Native Americans beating
like
her?
That
It was because it happened on it happened on tribal land.
So they probably don't care, because what happens on tribal land and stuff, we don't really.
We can't say anything. We can't say anything about it legally, but internet traffic is all managed by the same niggas. You can be on tribal land and upload some child porn and watch the feds come holler at you.
What's that shit they didn't want the pipeline to go through?
The Dakota pipeline.
So now they can be like, on the Dakota pipeline, they could be like, look at these savages. They don't deserve water anyway.
I mean, that's among other things. I just believe that Facebook, whether Facebook is choosing to engage, indulge, or allow, Facebook is partly responsible for the rise of violent crime and degeneracy, at least on the regular internet. We're not talking about the deep web. We're not talking about the dark web. We're not talking about nothing outside of the indexed internet. Facebook ranks among the most heavily trafficked internet site on earth.
But it's the first thing you check in.
But
right?
Niggas was sharing porn on fucking Facebook. Y'all remember the porn wave about a year or so ago? Yeah. And I mean, all the thoughts that sucking cock in the mall and sucking cock in the hospital and in the courthouse, all these videos are getting uploaded on Facebook.
But it's just like with Facebook, I think all this shit was happening anyway, but it's just the fact that we give them an outlet to show what the fuck is going on, that they just starting to use it more and more. My thing that I hate on Facebook is the child shaming. Like, motherfuckers do shit to their kids and be like,
whooping
look,
kids,
I'm putting this shit on Facebook,
shaving kids' head, giving your kids a bold ass hairdo.
I just seen this one.
Just whoop them in private. That's how I was doing.
I know.
Like, what?
It makes it worse.
Ain't no audience in private.
It makes it more embarrassing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not going to help to your cause, because even if you do promote it on Facebook and everybody see it, you still getting around the real issue is they have to respect you as an adult. I mean,
you're absolutely right, Cutter. Shame and guilt are great weapons.
They ain't gonna do shit but rebel against.
But they're also double-edged weapons, because guilt and shame repressed
or
internally.
It might shoot your ass.
Yeah, they turn into aggression.
Menendez,
right? You put it on Facebook, and some of his garbage friends might pick it up, talk shit to you at lunch, and then it brews, and then now you thinking about fucking up your own parent.
If you got a young savage on your hand, that nigga might come in there and cut your hair.
It wasn't no more than a couple years ago where the middle school girl was somebody uploaded the shit on Facebook about her giving head in class.
Oh wow.
Damn.
That shit's ridiculous.
I mean, it is ridiculous, but like I said, like have y'all ever seen the movie Natural Born Killers?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one thing that they were talking about in Natural Born Killers, it was social commentary as to why the news reporter, the salacious news reporter played by Robert Downey Jr., how he was willing to do anything for a fucking story, and how Mickey and Mallory's spree led to a whole bunch of fucking repeat crimes. Like people see shit and then they want to do it.
Right.
Notice that the spike, and not so much the spike in the reportings of school shootings, because when something's rare, it's reported.
Right.
But now, there are school shootings every fucking day.
Right.
Because people now have fodder for how the school shoot. Y'all, like the publication that the motherfucking Columbine dudes got pretty much was the manual to how to shoot up your school and be famous.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to burn in piss.
All these motherfuckers just need to just
That's
stop.
some garbage motherfuckers in this world.
Yeah, and then also you have to realize there's just bad people in the world. Like, you can't. Sometimes you don't create a monster. You just give.
Nurture them.
Yeah. You just nurturing one.
But I guess that's the belly of the internet.
Yeah.
It's like now it's inevitable to not you're gonna run across something.
That's where trolls came from. Like
Right.
trolls existed before the internet.
The internet gave them a safe platform
to troll.
To troll.
Yeah,
I agree.
You can talk shit and initiate a response out of people that you wouldn't normally get in real life without getting punched in the face. You can't get punched in the face through a screen.
Anonymity makes for great armor. It's true.
It does. Facebook really, I think, is the biggest culprit in troll activity for me, because I feel like it's more, like you said, it's more of a safety shield to be back there. You make 8-10 dummy pages. You got pictures ready. You can, you can get more intimate with who you troll.
Describing my whole life. Yeah,
right.
And then people are so triggered nowadays.
That's another thing.
It's so easy to troll people. Sometimes I don't even want to go in there and troll. But
it happens.
These motherfuckers are so sensitive and so triggered by every goddamn thing. You just be like, it's no reason for me not to troll this person at this moment because they deserve the trolling because they're a piece of shit like I am.
Trying to engage in critical conversation leads to people assuming that you're trolling simply because you posted or posited an opinion that disagrees with their worldview. Yeah. So now you trolling.
Yeah, they don't know because this person is so one-sided with their vision. They don't see other parts of the world. They don't see other people's way of thinking. They only got one way of doing it. So I gotta troll him just to play devil's advocate on some shit.
I'm gonna slap phobic on the end of the I'm gonna slap phobic on the end of whatever word I call him, and it's instantaneous. I win.
Like, bitch, you fat phobic. You don't like fat bitches and fat niggas?
Body shaming.
I was about to say, you can't say,
I can't say the word fat.
What
is a fat motherfucker walking down the street?
Fat, fag, and retard have been stricken from the record.
I can't say retard.
Shout out to all my fat, faggot retards out there.
I can't say retard.
You technically don't exist now because of social justice warriors. So let's give a hand for social justice warriors.
Just like the last show, they beat themselves to invisibility.
Yeah.
I miss those times, though.
Back when everything was a little bit more cavalier, you said what you wanted.
I think it made everybody tougher.
It made shit more honest. I truly believe that there needs to be dialogues between racists and other motherfuckers, just so motherfuckers tend to disagree.
Treaty.
When they don't have any understanding of where the other person's coming from. You put poor black motherfuckers and poor white motherfuckers in the same room. Let them call each other whatever the fuck they want. Let them get it all out.
Yeah.
Until they reach some type of motherfucking common ground. And then if they don't ever reach the common ground, then you know that you don't ever need to try this again.
You know what fucked up conversational relationships in this country? Like, Eminem fucked up a lot of shit.
Because you blame it on him?
Look.
Wow.
Eminem music-wise, and just because they had a white person going up there saying all this shit, and they didn't want to hear that shit, but he was like, all the rest of the rappers do it, why can't I? They was like, motherfucker, well, none of y'all can say it then. That's what happened.
So you feel like they hit a wall.
Yeah, they hit a wall.
They hit a wall.
We can't let him get away with it. So we can't let nobody get away with it.
It was the one concession that they made because everything else about that motherfucker they made sure to make bulletproof. We had brought that up about people being gateways and people having cred.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, but I think we just need to just get back to being tough. It's too much soft activity.
I agree.
In conversation, even in just like
PC generation.
Yeah, it's very PC, and I think social media created that bullshit bubble.
We in the peanut allergy era.
Peanut allergy area.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, it's the fucked up thing about it is when you look at the level of sensitivity. I'm an advocate for self-defense over being in peaceful environments because the environment is peaceful until it's fucking not peaceful, and you need to be able to rely on yourself and not the kindness of other people. Like period.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's just some soft motherfuckers.
Soft ass, kid glove wearing ass motherfuckers.
Just call them whores.
Can't call them whores.
You can't say that no
Can't
more.
say that anymore. Slut shaming. Everything is slang.
Whores, sluts.
See,
We can't even
to
say
the point
that.
where I can't say any goddamn thing. What do you want? Especially if I'm doing comedy, what do you want from me? I'm just throwing water bottles at people at certain points. Is that funny, bitch?
You can it depends on the audience that you're targeting. Dave Chappelle got called out for possibly homophobic and transphobic commentary. Louis C.K. did a whole stand-up where he opened up with 11 minutes of abortion jokes and literally compared a dead fetus to a piece of shit.
He also said nigger pussy. Nigger, what did he say? Did he say nigger pussy?
He said something. He said some joke about nigger.
Nigger
but
faggot or something.
Yeah, but he was very he ain't the first guy to be doing that shit.
Yeah. So
It ain't the first, and I'm pretty sure it ain't gonna be the last.
people just need to
motherfucker.
loosen up. As long as it's not coming from a fucking space of hatred, let motherfuckers say what they're gonna say.
I agree. I totally agree. But
I'm sick of talking myself out of shit.
you know,
Let me say what I'm gonna say.
well, actions speak louder than words, and you already knew where I was going. Actions speak louder than words, and what's louder than a big black ass nigga in a white suit slapping the shit out of some man in the face in the middle of church?
That's beautiful. When I saw that shit, I almost shed a tear. I was like, thank you. Because some of these, so you gotta have a gall and be brolic enough to, no matter who it is, I'm gonna do the same shit. I'm gonna have that same energy that I have with niggas in the street that I have with this bitch ass nigga up here being a bishop in the church. Cause that nigga ain't paid me money. No, if you look, you can't just fuck a hoe and not pay her money. I don't care who you are.
It's called theft.
So he just called them. He just
But,
stole
I mean,
some
it
pussy.
happens.
He just stole some pussy. I don't care if you a bishop, you a priest. He just went up there and be like, bitch, pay my hoes money. And he socked that nigga in the face.
Right in the middle of church, people was wondering like, this nigga don't go here, cause you know everybody in church and know everybody.
Oh
in
yeah,
church.
it's a small community. You know, everybody sleeping with each other.
Unless it's a mega church, which brings
Oh
me,
my God.
which brings me to my next.
Nigga church.
Yeah, I frown upon him.
I mean, I frown upon the shit because it's kind of not what. So I my frowning comes from two planes of thought, two places of thought. The first one comes from the shit that Jesus was supposedly about. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form a Christian, or am I affiliated with organized religion in any way, shape, or form. But if you gon' follow the motherfucking rules of the manual, you go to the person, the author, the person dictating the manual.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Jesus' whole thing was preaching the word directly to the people on the street. There was supposed to be no intermediaries between you and the church, and the whole mega church vibe just seems like the temple. Actually, my favorite story pertaining to Jesus was when he went up in the temple / mega church at the time and was fucking niggas up.
And throwing tables around and shit.
And was pointing to the infirm, the sick, and the invalid and why they weren't allowed in the church. And it makes me wonder, speaking of people being crippled, because that's another word you can't say. Speaking of people being handicapped.
God damn it.
The handicap that plagued everyone at the Detroit World Outreach Detroit World Outreach has been having a rough year, apparently. 2017 ain't been very kind. Supposedly, they lost their chief pastor.
And he died from butt cancer or something?
He died from cancer, villain. I can't say the specific origin of
Allegedly.
cancer. Allegedly. It's not like with Eddie Long where, they like covering it up. Like, well, he died of a very aggressive form of cancer.
Allegedly.
Well, what kind of cancer? Please be specific. There are hundreds of types of cancers.
He died with the cancer that start with the letter A.
Yeah, okay.
I can't even. I can't even.
Alleged cancer,
to it, and it is like my
Alleged
mind.
cancer.
Detroit World Outreach Church lost their pastor, Ben Gilbert, early in the year, and most recently, the widow of the pastor was arrested in the middle of service. The Redford police, shout out to the boys.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Came into the church, came into the seminary. They came in and just
Snatched her
up. And of course, going back to the topic that we were just talking about, where the fuck was the rest of the fucking parishioners? Where the fuck was the rest of the people in the church?
It's none of my business.
Niggas scared of
Singing and dancing.
They
Niggas
business.
scared of police, dog.
Of course. I mean, people are dying.
Niggas scared, but like if it's 5,000 of you versus one police officer,
But they gotta. They ain't got no
got
gun.
6 bullets, my
Guess
nigga.
whose side God was on that day?
Oh man,
Because if that is not the proverbial walking into the lion's den,
that shit is sad, dog. It's like you got 5,500 niggas, one white police officer come in there and grab your head, motherfucker.
but the whole thing with blacks, to borrow the term from my alt-right brethren, the whole thing with blacks being cucked
Man, they
by the white power and authority, by the white establishment. It was brought about by the police force. To borrow the term from my alt-right brethren in regards to blacks forcibly having power stricken from them, blacks being cucked by the white power structure and quote unquote white supremacy, at least over here in this country, it started primarily, a lot of people attest the beginning of it to the church. And not so much the church in and of itself, but what the church facilitated.
Yeah,
church
giving niggas Bibles to read.
And then, the only place where blacks were allowed to speak freely or to congregate together was in the church services. But even then, it was at the behest of somebody had to be there.
Yeah, you just can't do it by yourself.
Initially, it was a white overseer that was placed in the church. And then once they realized that if he was made to live more comfortably, the pastor would be double minister and overseer.
Right.
As long as he was dressed better, fed better, and kept in better...
Keep those niggas in line.
Yeah, better living accommodations than the rest of his ilk. But I mean, ratchetness is a staple in the black church because the black church is where a lot of angst and ennui amongst black people is acted out.
I think like the ratchetry in church is because a lot of the unsavory characters in the black community go to church to be like, all right, I did a bunch of bullshit, but
I mean, given the nature,
Thugs,
hoes.
given the nature of the revolving door policy of the church, all are welcome, none are shunned.
Right.
And I mean,
But they're not trying to get better though.
no, because that's where the power stuff comes in. Because I mean, whoever really tries to get better when you have nothing but power at your hands, when you have all this money, all this access to people emotionally, not to mention just the crowd energy that we love talking about, but
basking in the glove.
It motivates people to do stuff.
Yeah.
People that are
Amping them up, cheering in the fucking crowd. Yeah.
the way we all acknowledge that the wave is corny, but when you sit in a fucking stadium and 15,000 other motherfuckers just did it, the rush of not only seeing it but feeling the shit that's there.
Yeah.
And I mean, this degeneracy leads to the various church murders. You know what I'm saying? It's been just like a spring of things. deacons killing the pastors in front of the whole congregation. There's one case where the guy found out the pastor was fucking his wife and his daughter. Went up in church, smoked him in front of the congregation.
That's because people don't respect it like they used to. Like, holiness isn't as holy as it used to be.
It's lucrative. I think that with prosperity gospel, a lot of that fuckery and the rock star lifestyle shit came to be.
Yep.
Well, you give niggas power, they gonna do anything. You know what I mean? I think at the core, some men of the cloth could potentially be holier than thou, and then there's some of them, they just niggas to start with, they just found a new hustle.
I think they all sociopaths.
They all sociopaths. They all exhibit sociopathic tendencies. Did either of y'all watch Hannibal on NBC?
No, but I've seen the movies.
So the thing with Hannibal was there was the main character on there. I believe his name was Will. Will's thing was he was super duper empathetic, like super duper empathetic, and they called him in. He was the specialist, like y'all saw Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah.
He was like the male version of Clarice, I guess. Yeah. His super empathy made it difficult for him to do his job as a federal agent because he was conflicted.
He was empathetic to the motherfuckers that he was supposed to catch.
But it was the only way that he could catch them because every murder scene investigation would start with him standing there staring and picturing the whole how it all worked out.
Yeah.
So, these sociopathic tendencies, even a good person has sociopathic tendencies. They may or may not act on them or play them up.
Is that a such thing, though?
What?
If you have a good intention,
and you still a sociopath?
Is that all right? Because I guess break it down. Like, what would put you in that, like, that light to be a sociopath?
Sociopathy is basically not having empathy towards others, and you just doing whatever the fuck you want to do, no matter what. Just like those scumbag niggas that ruin women's lives just because they don't give a fuck about women at no cost, and I just want to fuck. I don't care.
Niggas that's running through and smutting up a bunch of women, but still crying about I'm gonna find my one, and she gonna be wifey.
He's a sociopath.
Meanwhile, I'm turning all these regular women into hoes and getting them strung out and all this other shit because I don't care. And I mean, with sociopathy, you don't feel empathy towards specific people. Now that the specifics of that can be determined by your outlook on shit. Technically speaking, Jesus was a sociopath. He didn't feel.
Can you say that?
We gonna have to edit this part out.
You can, because when he cursed, he had no empathy for those demons. He had no empathy for those spirits.
Oh my God, those aren't people.
I was about to say that's not a person. Like, how does that, like, you know what I mean? Like,
where's the line?
If demons are not people, how the fuck is Jesus a person?
He has a physical body.
So did the demons.
They possess physical bodies.
Who's to say that Jesus ain't God possessing a physical body?
Okay,
cut his mic.
I mean, if you want to get technical with it, possibly. But at some point, it has to be a line. Where's the line? Something that you're not going to just cross, because people have all these crazy things that they want to say, like with the whole trauma thing that I was trying to tell you earlier. Like, this guy just kept saying gay people become gay because of the trauma that they have incurred when they were kids. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, it's some gay people. Well, maybe a lot of them. Most of them probably had trauma, but some of these motherfuckers are just gay. Like, everybody in the whole United States has went under some kind of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And all these motherfuckers ain't come out ridiculous people. Some of them have. But, motherfuckers had trauma in middle school. Some people had trauma in high school. Some people have trauma when they go to the fucking dentist. Some people have trauma when they're in rush hour traffic. Some people have trauma getting out the bed in the morning. Like, you have trauma in your dreams. Like, trauma is every fucking thing.
Certain environments exacerbate trauma. The church is one of those environments because it's the shame and the guilt of you being homosexual, but you obviously notice other homosexuals in the church and you tend to gravitate towards them because it's like, well, how are you doing it? How are you baking your bread here knowing how the church feels? Well, it's just not talked about, or it's never directed towards me. You could be sitting in a room of crack addicts and drunks, and as long as you focus your hatred on one specific person, the rest of ain't nobody else gonna say nothing. Even though in their heart of hearts they all feel the heat and the barbs that this nigga's talking about. But it's, I don't know, man. Like, much like everything that black people were given, it was all poisoned, and even the faith was poisoned, because when you have spiritual teachers that are trying to get people on the right and exact path, a charismatic interloper is usually thrown in, and it's never just about taking that person's position away from them. It's about defaming them in the eyes of everybody, and then sending them on their way. So there's no way that they can come back.
We gotta make this nigga look bad.
Gotta make him look bad. It's not enough to kill him, because if you kill him, he'll be a martyr.
I mean, we've all had that happen to us. Let's say we was in fucking high school, you know what I'm saying, and we in there cracking jokes and making all the chicks laugh, and we becoming that guy, and the teacher sees that and be like, and the teacher hates on you. I'm like, go leave the classroom, get out in the hallway. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing nothing but other than being myself. I don't wear yourself as a distraction to this class. Get the fuck out of here.
You're fucking up the lesson plans, you fucking goof.
So what you say that your teacher,
even though I got an A in this class, it don't matter.
Shit.
Hey, Coonin, quote unquote, there's never a time for enough Coonin, and there's never a time where Coonin will be enough.
It's never enough Coonin.
There's never enough Coonin.
I think you can always use Coonin. You at least at some.
Coonin is an overused word nowadays.
Coonin and simp have become synonymous with being overused, because originally the term.
It's coming back.
You say anything, you label a coon nowadays.
Yeah, and it defeats the purpose of the definition.
Especially if you say something that's not that that's not flattery towards black women, you a coon.
Or black people in general.
I don't know. I ain't been hearing coon as hard as nigga.
If you don't,
I'm saying I hear coon from black people. Black people call other black people.
I hear dudes be like, they'll use nigga. They be like, oh man, he's this nigga out of control. Or that you're being too black.
I think it's just because of the feminists and all these other motherfuckers running around. They heavily use the word coon.
Yeah, and I mean black feminists particularly, because Tommy Sotomayor and all the women bashing syndicate of YouTube.
Yeah.
But I mean, I follow Tommy Sotomayor. I find his videos.
I'm gonna start watching them because Tommy is a coon. I have to say he coons it up on the regular. But it's just the fact that his message, he says a lot of truth, but he just goes way too far with it. He
poisons his own knowledge well. It's the saddest part about watching his shit. But I mean, it is what it is. But we talk about the cooning, and it's so many candidates for coon now. I am glad that coon has taken the place of Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Because Uncle Tom being slandered was a misnomer.
Yeah.
Because Uncle Tom was the fucking hero of the book. Uncle Tom was trying to save the other niggas, while the coons and Sambo and Zip Coon, Zip the Coon, were the main antagonists of the goddamn
they were
book.
Harry Tubmans of the light skins.
So wow. Okay.
Go ahead.
Harry Tubman as a light skin. Okay.
Bringing it out. But I mean, we got modern day cooning. We got people that just don't want to learn. We said that there's always a time for cooning, but that don't mean that there's always going to be time for you. Kodak Black is learning the hard way. Kodak, who just got out of jail, is actually about to go back to jail. Him and Kevin Gates caught up in the same shit. Now, what I do think is funny is when asked about, and this doesn't matter to me, because these niggas is just rappers. They niggas who put words together. That's pretty much it. But to the community at large, who would find this an opportunity to disparage them, when Kodak Black said all that shit about black women, and I don't like my women too dark, and this, that, and the third.
Just like Lil Wayne.
Yep, people was like, oh, so you trying to butter up to white people.
Yep.
It didn't work. Kevin All Lives Matters Gates, who just got off of a 9-month bid, supposed to be 6 months, but the judge feeling saucy, threw 3 extra months on there. Now he about to serve some years for the gun charge.
Like 300 months or something.
Yeah, I heard it. He gonna do real time.
Ain't he in Chirac too?
Yeah, he in Chirac.
Yeah.
Fucking Chirac. I can't talk too loud about them.
They gonna smack the kufi off that nigga head.
And speaking of kufi smacking, fucking cooning, the villain and I were just talking about Corey Holcomb show
Ooh.
And we were talking about it in regards to, we were talking about Ari Spears. I don't know about you. How do you feel about Ari Spears' comedy?
Well, I always thought Ari Spears was kind of a coon, not a coon, but a cornball. Like he was just like one of those niggas that was like on the outskirts. He was probably like a suburbanite that wanted to seem tough, you know what I'm saying, and wanted to be an ultra nigga. But this nigga was on fucking Mad TV with 20 white people. So
Yeah, Phil Lamar.
Yeah, Phil Lamar. So it's like
Lamar's hilarious.
it's not like I never got Ari Spears. He was never that funny. He was like a whitewashed version of Tracy Morgan to me.
Wow. I mean, I can't say that I think I maybe listened to one of his stand-up. What's the one where he's wearing blackface on the cover?
He wearing blackface.
Yeah,
he's wearing blackface.
Blackface with the white lip. If you look it up, it look real coon-tastic.
If anybody in the audience is too young to remember Ari Spears stand up in his Mad TV stuff, you can go check out, and this ain't a plug at all because that nigga ain't paying us, but you can go check out the Vlad interviews. Ari Spears.
Yeah, I thought
Like he's humorous.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
think he's a funny comic. He's a humorous guy.
Nah,
he does impressions and all type of shit.
I
served
always thought his impressions was funny.
But my only problem with niggas that do impressions, they got 5 impressions that they do.
Yeah, that's typical.
He does, and he spams those impressions over and over and over again. I'm straight. And then he got older and he got all fat and never mind.
So now you against his weight now?
He
body
just
villain out here with the body shaming.
Right. You can't body shame him, man.
He got fat and less funny. Like most people get fat and funnier.
Right.
I tell you who didn't think he was funny. Zoe Williams didn't think he was funny. He didn't think all them light skin jokes was
Nah,
funny.
shout out to all my light skin.
It came to a head.
You ran
I
your
was
mouth.
happy. I was happy as Corey Holcomb was happy. You see that nigga face?
Corey Holcomb, my nigga.
He was reveling in the fuck shit.
I mean, he invited. You know what? He didn't invite him on for the fuck shit, but the drinking, the excessive light skin jokes,
He
and
invoked the whole shit.
no effort to de-escalate shit at all.
It was a whole move to bring him because he knew it was already gonna go down.
So I mean, would y'all say that there's a difference between, because Bill and I were specifically talking about the Ari Spears shit because we was talking about Ari Spears' newfound zeal to quote unquote sell out and get back on. Because right now he's been playing the Chitlin circuit. I really don't know all the particulars.
For you to get back on, you got to be relevant. I don't think Ari Spears did anything relevant in the last 5 years.
It's hard to resonate with the internet culture when you're not in the internet culture.
Yeah, because there's so many niggas on the internet. Like more people now are familiar with DC
Young Fly
versus Ari Spears. Shit, DC Young Fly is like touring now.
That nigga making bread. The Hodge twins, they making bread.
Shout out to the Hodge twins, dog. I fuck with them ignorant ass niggas, dog. Them niggas is great. My cousin
Them niggas in
J.O.
Australia right now.
My cousin, they in Melbourne. My cousin J.O. put me up on them niggas. Them niggas is hilarious. But like the Corey Holcomb and the Ari Spears situation, the Ari Spears talking about wearing dresses and doing whatever it takes. I wear the dress if the comedy's
See, doing whatever it takes. I get into it with Cutter over this all the goddamn time. doing whatever you gotta have some kind of scruples. You gotta have a point to where you not gonna cross. Like no matter what, I'm not going to this level. Like I'm not gonna suck a dick ever.
Do you think Jay Farrell?
I was about to say, Jay Farrell said he ain't gonna wear a dress, and he got instantly terminated.
He was justified. Like he knew what was gonna happen to him. Like first he almost got fired on a couple occasions. The first occasion he almost got fired was when they were like they were trying to get him to do skits that he wasn't comfortable of doing.
Well, first of all, I think you need to have a certain star power to say you ain't wearing a dress. I think Jay Farrell don't have enough star power to deny the dress.
He was he the most popular person on that show?
No.
Who had the top rank on that show right now?
I don't know anybody
I think he might have the biggest name on that show right now.
And SNL?
Him and Keenan. And Keenan is halfway out the door anyway. Keenan said this is last season.
Keenan gonna rock it until he don't want to do it no more. But he got more star power than Jay Farrell. I don't see the reason why I don't like that he like trying to make a stance is because he wasn't talking that hardcore shit when they first came to him about doing all those gentrification, fucking digital fucking movies that they was doing on SNL, the black jokes. He wasn't campaigning about stopping.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't campaigning that shit. He just when they threatened his manhood, when they were like did all this shit, and then
they threatening your people.
And what first happened was he told them it's no black women on this show, and I don't like that. And they were like, all right, it's time for you to go. And then it was like, he was like, wait a minute, I'm going to the internet with this shit. And then right after that, they signed Leslie and that other chick.
But he's a nobody. That's
but you got to be able to stir the pot. If you own the show. He
doesn't have a track record enough to say, like, Dave Chappelle can say, I don't want to do it because he had Comedy Central back in, and he was the most popular motherfucker. I don't feel like he has that kind of talent and star power. What are you going to do, more Jay-Z impressions? After this,
yeah, it's true.
They don't do shit.
But
that was retarded. He should have just put the dress on and shut the fuck up.
No.
I feel like he don't do enough for him to say, "Oh, well, I don't need it." Y'all need to start having more blacks on the show and all that stuff.
Look,
but see, how do you wear the dress one time and not become Big Mama?
Yeah. What stops you from wearing the dress 18 more times?
I mean, you do it Martin Lawrence. You do it when you.
But what if you don't want to do that? What if you not that person?
Martin,
where he at? Nah, he just a nigga known for wearing dresses. Nah.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
But it's true.
It's true. But
even though Martin held down, see, most people ain't aware of how big it was for Martin Lawrence to open up primetime TV Thursday nights. Yeah. For a black dude. Motherfucker Martin and Living Single was opening up primetime TV.
And
like they took this.
Smith.
But I think it wasn't like ashamed when he was doing it.
No,
I think it was more like glamorized when he was doing it.
What it was there weren't people talking about it.
Nobody even brought it up.
You because it stretches back to motherfucking Flip Wilson playing Geraldine and George Burns and Tom Hanks motherfucking wore a dress on the one TV show with him and the other dude.
Everybody has wore. There's been a lot of people that wore dresses,
and we really didn't know about the issue with people not wanting to wear the dress until, like you said, until Chappelle stirred up some shit. But at that point, Chappelle had already spent 20 years on the chitlin circuit trying to get TV, movies, and he found his niche with the fucking Chappelle show. But I don't think that invalidates Jay Farrell's not wanting to wear a dress.
Because white people think it's funny, it's especially funny when a big black man is put into a feminized role.
Black people too, because if they didn't, Tyler Perry.
I was about to say Tyler Perry is the leading force.
Tyler Perry.
But just because you got a lot of money and a lot of power from doing some shit like that, don't mean you need. I don't need to fucking celebrate you for doing shit like that.
I agree.
Why? Who cares? I don't care about that shit. Yeah, I don't fuck with Tyler Perry. So what?
Yeah, I don't celebrate him as a person, but I think I celebrate the fact that his success. Yeah, I probably celebrate that more. As a business person, I celebrate that.
I agree with that, specifically so I can make the point that it's funny that Tyler Perry, who has gone on to help with the minstrel show of black people in entertainment, Tyler Perry is unanimously supported, with people like us being in the minority as far as wanting to support him, versus the black guy that is the CEO of Shea Moisture, who is right now on the ass end of a fuck you train, specifically because the brand chose to diversify. Now let's not get it fucked up. At a certain point, when a business gets large, it expands its brand. Sometimes there's a change of ingredients, there's some cost cutting, but you just happy that the brand is still around. Now, the Shea Moisture company has been going through a lot of heat because they made a commercial, and the gist of the commercial, I'm not about to get into arguing with motherfuckers over the semantics. The commercial was literally about Shea Moisture is no longer going to be on the ethnic aisle or the ethnic section. It's going to be where everything else was. A lot of people, and I personally believe that it's a lot of people that don't even support the brand, chose to go on a firestorm and shit on everything. But I just ask these women.
I think their main demographic has always been black women.
And I don't think that was going to change. That's why I specifically said it was.
From that commercial, it looked like it's going to change.
No, it was diversifying of the brand. And I say that because Pantene, who notoriously does not serve niggas, came out with a fucking gold line. And in the gold line commercial, there was nothing but brown and dark-skinned women of all types of hair textures.
That's more pandering to me.
But how is it not? See, this is my thing. The pandering aside, I don't remember white women shutting down the internet and threatening to boycott Pantene.
That's because they still making the original thing.
But Shea Moisture is not going to stop making the original thing. It's literally.
I thought they said they were going to change the ingredients and all that.
No. For products that may be tailored to specific people, but the brand diversification was for the sake of expanding the company. Bain Capital, the mostly white front that put in all this money to Shea Moisture.
So they sold the company to white people.
They had to because niggas wasn't buying the company.
And white people basically put out this commercial.
Look, man, whether people know it or not, the gentleman that came up with the idea to consolidate government computer network systems was a black guy. The guy that pretty much helped to create the internet was a black guy. The guy that created the cell phone and helped to usher in further telecommunications that will go on to be the motherfucking cell phones and the cell phone market was a black guy. The first thing that these dudes did was try to shop their ideas around to black people with money. And they didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
So now niggas is shooting each other and recording rape videos and fights with $700-800 motherfucking phones. And this is why I brought that shit up in regards to Shea Moisture. No one's taking the fucking company away from them. Everyone knows about black hair care, the importance of black hair care, the significance of black hair care. I've heard people say, well, you know, hair hate. The whole commercial was about hair hate.
No,
so why don't they?
Wasn't about hair hate.
Exactly.
It wasn't about hair hate.
So why don't you bring up the people that hate their hair the most? Because Shea Moisture exists as a company to not pander to the fucking people that hate their hair.
Hear that. They looking at the commercial.
Shea Moisture is not trying to appeal to the women out there that want to wear full Remy weave sewings and shit like that. It's for the women that are actually trying to take care of their hair. Why would you include hair hating black women just to hear some? Why didn't you include the people that actually use the product? Blah 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 blah.
I've never heard that term before.
Hair hating black women.
This is why we
hair hating black women.
Because it's not just black women they hate their hair. Black women's quote unquote troubled relationship with their hair and hatred of their hair is most storied. But you got white women with red hair that dye their hair. You got how many white women out there? How many white, Latino, and other women dye their hair?
Rainbow colored hair. But the way I looked at it was, black people thought black women were saying something was taken away from them. They're sick of stuff getting taken away from them. Like their biggest proprietors were black women, and now they were thinking that they were going to change the formula because you got all these motherfuckers that's not black in the commercial being highlighted, and they're like, oh, these motherfuckers is betraying us. And you sold the company, 60% of the company to fucking white people.
No, it wasn't 60. It was minority. It was a minority.
So it was like 40.
Yeah, like less than 40.
So it was the other way.
It's kind of like the whole BET situation.
I mean, where were all the celebrities and all the rich niggas with money? Where the fuck was they to step up and buy? Where the fuck was all of the rich niggas to help out Shea Moisture? But then again,
Jay could have bought it.
He could have. But then again, how can we hope that these same rich niggas who get blonde weave and blue contacts, why the fuck would they care about Shea Moisture? See, niggas get mad and have knee-jerk reactions over shit that could have easily been changed. But instead of buying equity and stocks in Shea Moisture, motherfuckers went and put $1,000 in the Koreans' pockets.
So you get mad after the shit already happened.
After it already fucking happened.
Try and stop it from happening.
But being reactionary is a crux of being black, because you always in the shit until it happened and then you complain. You can never complain in the moment. Always after.
We always like to play it safe, I think. Most, especially like, when I say play it safe, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to get into bed with this person because they don't have the right credentials or they don't have the right backing. What's this? You know what I mean? It's a lot of white influence in when we make our decision making for money.
Because white money.
We don't want to put our
We
money
don't want
in
to put up with our
because we
own.
might lose our money.
That's why we don't have Negro Town. I feel like we missing out on a lot of stuff because we scared to invest in our
Ourselves.
own.
Well, as long as women chiefly are advocating for the destruction of a company headed by a black man who's done nothing but put his company out on the limb to keep black hair care, like, I don't understand how this man is ostracized and no one, I've never heard anything bad said about Madam C.J. Walker. I've never heard one fucking bad thing.
She sold her idea to white people.
Sold her idea to white people, made it popular to perm your hair, made it popular to color treat your hair, made it popular to
She
put
started
on
the shit.
wigs.
Because we
The first
celebrate-
black billionaire in the nation made all her cake off of self-hate. Quote unquote. I don't say Madam C.J. Walker made her money off of self-hate. She made her money off of black hair care, but it can be misconstrued that way, just like it can be.
No, I think just so happened the people that do self-hate bought her products and used them.
Yes.
She didn't make her money off of self-hate. Just those the motherfuckers that bought a lot of the shit that she made.
Yeah, we just celebrate everybody else except us, and I think that needs to change.
I agree with that.
Because like when we talked about Cinco de Mayo, we went to Cinco de Mayo. Everybody celebrated.
Everybody did. Everybody's planning on celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
I'm gonna be there. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gonna celebrate Negro Town. We need to figure out a date.
You know what could ruin Negro Town? Interracial relationships.
You can't even say that.
This motherfucker had to scoot away from the table.
I'm about to redo it again.
You're gonna have to preface that.
What?
Interracial relationship. What about interracial relationships will ruin Negro Town?
It's no longer Negro Town. It's no longer Negroes. It's just a bunch of mulattoes running around. As Cutter was saying.
Whites don't let interracial relationships ruin their hierarchy and hegemony. Why does it have to ruin black hegemony?
They got a place for that.
Once again, it's called L.A. Okay, once again, you need to have a line that you're not crossing. Where's the line? Because you can just keep breeding white people. It's no longer Negro Town anymore.
Well, that is another thing. Controlling interest is always a thing, but interracial dating dynamics, very, very complex stuff, supposedly. I don't really think it's that complex. I mean, at this point, the internet and porn has made everybody want to do everything with everybody. Yeah. But then again, everybody was always doing everything with everybody. When it was illegal for niggas to be caught fucking white people,
they still wanted to do it.
You had motherfuckers fucking each other, having kids.
I think the repression that the United States have makes everybody want to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't gamble, motherfucker, I'm gambling. I can't do this, motherfucker, I'm doing it anyway.
So where do you see the repression? What role does repression play in interracial dating dynamics?
Repression, families. That's the only thing. Like, white people families don't want niggas in them, and some black people families don't want white people in them.
I think it's mainly like the fathers. Like, it really be the fathers. They be.
I don't
want no black nigger
fucking my daughter. Oh my God.
Like Hogan when he went on his rant.
or the
throwing those 6'6" basketball dick slinging nigger touching my bitch. Oh yeah.
Listen here, brother. I don't want no brother touching my daughter, brother.
Brother was always nigger, but he just never said it. Like with the owner of the Clippers back in the day.
Shout out to my nigga. What was his name?
Piece of shit. That owner of the Clippers.
Donald Sterling.
Donald Sterling. That nigga was a legend.
That name sound racist.
Right.
Sterling.
The best part about Donald Sterling is Donald Sterling. See, much like everybody else that sits at the bastion and the head of the table of degeneracy, it wasn't enough for Donald Sterling to fuck a black bitch. It's not enough for Donald Sterling to fuck a Latino broad. Yeah. Donald Sterling had to get him a half black, half Latino mistress to rub his feet and touch his balls
Yeah.
It was exotic for him. His old 80-year-old balls.
And then he didn't want Magic Johnson coming to his.
I don't want Magic coming. Why are you
coming
hanging
with
around?
his-
Why are you hanging
coming
around
at my
him?
Fucking establishment with his AIDS juice and all that shit.
All right, dog.
That's not my word.
He probably hated Magic Johnson since the 80s when he was fucking his team over.
Yeah.
That's probably, it had deep
That was
roots.
built up.
Yeah, it had some, and it was this old smiling ass nigga. He really hated that shit.
You think Donald Sterling went out and bought a cake when Magic announced that he had AIDS on TV or HIV?
But then he ain't died though.
Nah, he didn't.
So he couldn't really celebrate how he
Key,
wanted to celebrate.
I've known niggas that were born after Magic Johnson said that he had got AIDS and have died before he did.
Oh, that's funny.
His HIV.
So I mean,
That ain't funny.
it's tragic funny, like when a clown died.
in a
fuck
funny way.
Fuck.
But you hit on a good point with the cultural aspect. Cultural barriers with interracial dating, they always bring stuff up. They always make for those awkward table conversations, the intrusiveness of people's questioning, the distrust.
Yeah.
Lots of get out shit, and it's on both sides
See,
of
like,
the table.
like with me, when it comes to interracial dating, I had this talk with one of my close friends recently. We were talking about interracial dating. Like, I think all black guys have a time in their life when they just want to fuck white girls.
What do you think that represents?
I think it's just a time period in their life. They just going through a phase. I don't know if it's just anything deep seated, like that, like have the slave have the slave sex, the fucking plantation
Dudes in
sex.
general just be wanting to find
Try
new
other
hoes.
shit. Yeah,
I don't even think it has nothing to do with the color. It's just we just savage motherfuckers.
yeah. We just like
I
variety.
agree with both of y'all. I also want to preface some stuff where I read a book. It was called "The Destruction of Black Boys." A guy I worked for who ran an education program let me read the book, and it hit on some real good points about how you are conditioned to view white women, young black males in general. You are conditioned to have a warped view of white women from a very early age because
They're also fair.
they're your teachers.
Yeah.
If your parents, most of the time, who are poor, that can't afford to raise you themselves, they let the TV raise you. So there's nothing but white women on TV.
Yeah.
Most of your teachers for young black boys are white women.
Yeah.
When you look at music and you look at movies, you look at who athletes end up with. Most athletes are married. Most black athletes are married to black women,
look
but
at
their
them
relationships are highly publicized.
Yeah.
But I think they look at them as trophies, though.
I mean, that's because they're presented to them as trophies.
Right, like, you
Revered.
know, I got a white chick in a drop top. That's like a...
But a lot of them don't even be good white chicks though. It just be some old.
No, it's
sloppy-
just, I think it's just because she a white girl.
Yeah,
I know.
trailer
I've
park
noticed that across the board when people, to be petty, when people date across the board based on the aesthetics and all of the petty shit that people talk about, people tend to, or at least it's touted as, people tend to date below.
down.
They date down if it's interracial.
Great.
Yeah.
I can't even say get downgrade.
It's just a date down. They just,
Yeah.
They be like, okay, if I date a black chick, she gotta be an 8. This was what niggas say. But if it's a white chick, I deal with 6. Or a
6.
Latino, I deal with a 6.
But then I think because the rationale is because they feel like, oh, well, she could clean my credit, or
they
oh,
gonna fix a nigga.
Ain't no nigga thinking that far.
yes they do. They be like, oh man, I've heard niggas say that. They be
Maybe
like,
cutting niggas, baby.
They
But
be like,
by
yeah,
and large.
she fix my credit, or she
Bleach
can
a
buy
bitch.
me more J's. They be thinking about the benefits.
More J.
They
Yeah,
don't
but what if
even-
she broke too?
Oh, the trailer for the refund check. That look,
damn it.
dudes be niggas be finessing
This is
the
terrible.
low tier white women for the same, almost the same as black women, but they in their mind, I think they condition themselves to think like, well, it's better coming from a white girl. You know what I'm saying?
Trash. I could deal with trash.
I see that because I see it with a lot of white dudes, Middle Easterners, some Latino dudes that date black women and end up it's like, well, you know, as long as don't nobody know about us, this is Gucci. The minute my family, my constituents, or anybody else find out, I think it's just,
especially in the Middle Eastern.
I think it's just a lot of prejudice and stupid shit that niggas bring into the situation that need not be there. Because if you're a white dude and you feeling this black chick, or if you're a black dude and you feeling this Asian broad, or if you're a Latino dude and, you know what I'm saying, this white chick, it's pretty much y'all hit it off, y'all make each other laugh and it's cool. Why bring that predisposed bullshit that you don't even believe in? Because if you did, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Well, it goes back to what he was saying. It's the parents.
Yeah.
Like
That
they
home
instill,
culture.
they instill that garbage in them at
It's learned,
at
yeah.
youth.
But at a certain point, you know, you got to decide.
Gotta get out of that shit. Like you
Some people can't break
your
that
own
shit.
person. You not your father's kid anymore. And like with me, like at this point in my life, I don't even know if I can't really date any non-black chick right now. I can bang chicks of other races. Like I don't care about that.
But why is that?
I can't be with another chick because I don't think, first of all, they don't have the same upbringing and the same background that I have. They don't understand what it's like to be black. And also, when the shit goes down, a lot of white girls tend to just turn back to white girls. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna want to deal with my black problems.
Well, I don't never get that kind of like approach because I'm light skinned, so I'm already out of the race for a white woman, which I still think is bullshit. But
It's true though.
But
That's
I'm
crazy.
not. I had a lot of conversations about that, which I thought was weird. It's the fear element
I think
that draws them to it, and then plus, they say, well, it looks on contrast against their skin, it looks good.
I think that's just here.
heard that.
I think that's just here. Like,
say-
if
I'd
you go
say
to
it's
like
here.
California or something, you gonna be prime white girl.
I don't think so.
I think so.
In proximity, I think like if you are in that group, like if you're in that group and they like your familiar territory because you're in proximity of the group or you grew up with them,
Yeah.
it makes it easier for them to digest you and be accepted.
Yeah.
Right? I don't feel like, and I still feel like, even, and I've been on the West Coast, I still get that feeling like there's that bubble that you can't necessarily cross unless you got someone introducing you into
And
that.
I also think it's like pop culture and stuff like that. Whatever they see that's popular going, they're interested in. Like Tiger's been with a lot of white chicks, and they like, all right, his skin complexion, he's kind of a half breed. They like that type of shit.
But that's a whole nother conversation because then at that point, he's a celebrity.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But whatever they do,
Because like Tiger ain't ugly, but he's I don't know.
Cash money. I mean,
Okay, it's the celebrity shit.
it's the celebrity.
Like,
but I think that goes back to like the confirmation.
that reminds me of another Tiger. Would Black China have dated a black dude similar to Rob Kardashian if he didn't have money?
if he didn't have money, no.
No. Her agenda was cash related, but I think it was even more solidified because he was a Kardashian.
I think, you know what I'm saying, that gives what you said about motherfuckers looking for the come up, that gives this shit credence. But I mean, speaking on prejudice and motherfuckers letting their family and their upbringing decide, like, when is enough enough? Like, when do you decide that this shit ain't gonna work? When is de-escalating the situation not working? When do you just like, fuck it?
Yeah, like when you have to actually like break up with somebody, or you have to just punch a nigga in the face that won't get out your face.
Yeah, like when can you not walk away from a shitty argument or a shitty situation? Most sane people decide to just walk away from a bad argument, but in the advent of the trolling age, and I happen to bear witness to a villain trying to kick some knowledge and some fuckery ensued with motherfucking people being too sensitive and just I just want motherfuckers to just start wearing "I hate black men" t-shirts, so I can know just to stay the fuck away from
Just
them.
to stay the fuck away.
They have the Scarlet Letter. We need to do the Scarlet Letter thing again.
I don't know. I think look for the cues, like the repetitiveness. Like if a motherfucker keep slamming and spamming the same garbage for like
when they make it difficult for you to have a constructive conversation.
where it's like you can't never get past something.
I can't even talk to this
They
motherfucker.
want to keep going backwards to the same garbage that they said in the beginning.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, like that's conversational. What marriage you putting your hands on somebody?
This is funny because Cutter over here is known for just fighting motherfuckers all the time. So what is your? You want to throw allegedly on Tyler? So what is your breaking point? Because you got a quick fuse.
Well, I feel like personal space is everything.
I agree with that.
And I feel like if you gearing up, I'm gonna beat you to it every time. Like if I see you,
Oh, you
get
gotta
charged,
tax them before they attack you.
Well, I've always been taught that you tax a motherfucker first, and you ain't got to worry about the change. You go first. Don't let them dictate the fight because you'll lose the fight.
Yeah.
If you hit first, you have an 80% chance of winning. In my head, but even if you don't connect fully, like if it's a whole ass punch, right? Let's say you throw a whole ass punch. That intimidation is there because they know. Okay,
they got to react to it.
Right, they got to react to it. They can either fight or flight.
Yeah.
And for me, it'd be like, I look at, okay, how your tone is. Are you getting closer to me?
You escalating.
And then after, if I can't use verbal jujitsu with you, then I gotta ice it because I know where you're going with it. And so that's how I feel about it.
So with motherfuckers that just won't stop talking and getting in your face and getting closer to you,
Smack
you just
him
be
up.
like, I'm just gonna hit this motherfucker.
Do it.
So sometimes I'm like that too, but I just try not to hit motherfuckers.
I listen to my gut a lot.
Yeah.
I do. Like I listen to my gut a lot. Like if my gut is telling me like if you don't hit this motherfucker, he gonna kill you or beat you the fuck up in front of his boys. And then in my head I'm calculating, okay, who got their phone out?
Yeah.
Is this gonna be a world star moment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm calculating all that before we even enter into that danger zone. So I don't know. I watch niggas a lot because niggas is.
I ain't trying to get into
read.
no fucked up situation like that. That's all I'm trying to do. Like, cause I ain't trying to be no 30-year-old man scrapping out in the middle of the street.
Shouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's all I go. I'd rather shoot a nigga, but I don't want to do that either. I don't want to shoot.
You got to it now. You
Yeah, I know.
grown man
Yeah.
now. You know what
I got to. I'll just be like, nigga.
I think the pistol is unforgiving, of course, but I think the pistol play is necessary because now you going into your 30s and a fight you can't do nothing with because you got to go to work, you got obligations.
Exactly. Right.
If you got family members,
Right.
you got to take care of. So that slows up all your work. You know what I mean? It slows up everything. So I think the pistol is the best solution.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
and then if I beat a nigga ass, that nigga just gonna come back.
Right.
Because niggas can't just take an L and move on with their life.
Not no more. It ain't like it was when we was younger, when we was about half our age. It's fucked up that we have to preface with half our age.
Literally.
But yeah, nigga, you can fight. But you know what? It's the social media shit. You getting your ass whooped in front of the school was one thing. Maybe the source for a few weeks to months of jokes to the next time you fight and prove yourself. But
You get your ass whooped in front of 1 million people. On Facebook.
it's forever.
Yeah.
Like
Niggas'
the-
egos are so bruised.
I mean, because the weaponry involved in bruising the egos is so much more damaging.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't
Getting
let you
punched
have
in
to
your
cry.
face and listening to niggas talk about it that wasn't there is one thing. Getting the fuck stomped out of you and millions of people knowing who you are, blowing up your inbox. Because, you know, like we look at shit like, yeah, well, you know, it's fucked up. Bro, we greatly underestimate the everyday savagery of people. Motherfuckers hitting up motherfuckers' inboxes. And, yeah, nigga, I saw you get your ass beat, nigga. After 600-700 messages of that in the inbox.
Yeah.
At what point do you snap?
I could just imagine motherfuckers getting inboxes about fights, because you get inbox about everything nowadays. Nigga, I seen what you did on Facebook 3 days ago, nigga, that wasn't right. Like, that type
I mean,
of
'cause
shit.
imagine the fear. Because back then, I like, when you get into a fight back then, it would kind of blow over for maybe a summer. And then you like, all right, I come back and then you fight another motherfucker and you redeem yourself. Now, it's like if you get in a fight, that shit is forever.
You have to shoot up the school.
You gonna have to write. You gonna have to shoot any motherfucker that's holding the fucking camera
Come on, dog.
that was in proximity.
All right, Chicago.
Look, I'm
think
not
that's how
advocating.
Chirac was
That's
born.
how it happened.
I'm not advocating shooting up schools, but I also understand the world that we live in, nigga. And like I said, repeat offenders, and how many more kids need to get their motherfucking guts stomped in before enough is enough. I mean, it's fucked up. But I didn't make the rules. I'm just playing the game.
Enough is enough. It's enough.
I hear that.
But on the politics and shit, and literally, that's the name of this next segment, is politics.
Should be
and
shitty politics.
Shitty politics and shit. We got my nigga 45, as because people don't want to say his name. President Trump was talking that hot jiggy nigga shit about the Civil War. He was coming in hot. He was talking about the Civil War.
Why did he start talking about the Civil War anyway?
Somebody was interviewing him about Andrew Jackson, and apparently he was in Tennessee recently. And I guess when a nigga watched some shit that happened to be the topic of the conversation that he walked in on, and he feels himself the resident expert. Well, he said, if Andrew Jackson was around, Civil War wouldn't have happened. Fuck the fact that Andrew Jackson died 15, 20 years before the fucking Civil War.
He wasn't even around. I was about to say, Abraham Lincoln was the goddamn president during the Civil War. But it sounded like he was just spewing some shit his daddy told him.
I mean, the crazy, that's possibly true. The crazy thing about it was, he was like, why did the Civil War even happen? And I find that funny because the sequel to the Civil War is going to happen at least 2 years into your term. So
Civil War Part 2.
Yeah.
We've been gearing up towards it. Like everything that's been happening. We got Obama as president. Before him, we had George Bush. Now we have this motherfucker. Who's going to precede him? It's either going to be a super black man or it's going to be some other Donald Trump.
Man, we'll never see another black.
We're going towards our 20th
or a woman.
20 years of steady war after the Trump presidency. 8 years of Bush, 8 years of Obama, that's 16. Trump's first term will have meant we have been at war for 20 years straight.
That shit don't happen while I'm alive.
Oh, it's gonna happen while you're alive. We just gotta find.
I'd rather see martial law than that shit.
We just gotta find a face.
Shit, who's to say we don't live in martial law now? There's cameras everywhere. Police have immunity and everything. It's martial law in all but name. I mean, living in Detroit, it's police everywhere. It's still crime everywhere. And that's amazing to me. How the fuck can there, because it's the backwards logic of, well, if there are more police, there will be less crime. That's
false.
That's false. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Police can't just come into your house and be like, what you doing in here? Like, they're not constantly looking. They're just,
I mean, that police. Most of these police officers, they're not about to go into the neighborhoods to stamp out the source of the goddamn crime. It's easy sitting on the corner in an unmarked motherfucking Mustang. First of all, if you're a police officer, why the fuck are you sitting in an unmarked Mustang? Why are Mustangs used as police cruisers?
That's because half of that police force.
Do you know how
they I won't say use the word coward.
I will, because most of the motherfuckers don't live in the city.
But I would say they some soft motherfuckers because they never been. I think they need to do more extensive training in the communities.
It actually takes longer to become a beautician than it does to become a police officer.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think they should do more psych evals before you let these retarded motherfuckers have a gun.
The only way they can do all that is if they pay these motherfuckers more.
Yeah, and they ain't really paying them shit. Really, a lot of the cops from the...
I don't believe so. For just a walk-in, for a low education, they actually get paid a lot of money.
I agree. For no skills or whatever.
Yeah, no skills.
But then again,
off the street.
But then again, like I said, what's high to you and low to somebody else? It's a lot of niggas that live in Clinton Township come down here and be police officers because in 5 years, 5 years here is worth 10 back home. Yep. They can come here, do a 5-year stint, go back home, be a captain.
Yeah, because you worked in big bad Detroit.
Yeah. Giving parking tickets and pulling out guns on people with fucked up tail lights.
Yep.
Piece of shit. Yeah, but I think they just need more real tougher. I think they should keep it to where they should have police that are recruited from the community versus outsiders.
But don't nobody want to be a police officer here. That's the problem.
And I think it was designed that way. Yeah. Make the police force so hostile that within 2 to 3 generations, no one will want to be a cop.
Yeah, nobody in Detroit wants to police Detroit.
I think there's guys out there. It's just the problem with it is the guys that are volunteering or coming from the military. That's another source of recruitment. The blacks that are coming from military, they're getting shipped in other places because they feeling like they can make more pay or they can get more benefits
Because they're trained.
because they're trained, they're conditioned. So by the time that they do want to step up, it's like, well, why would I stay in Wayne County when I could go in Oakland? Less danger.
Make 15,000 more.
You know what I mean?
I think that civil unrest is going to be the precursor to the Civil War here. And when America goes into the Civil War, possibly, this is all tinfoil snapback conspiracy theory talk right now.
Oh, yeah.
Social unrest in America is going to preempt World War III.
I can see that. And actually, that's more realistic than versus the previous 10 years ago. Because I think it's
Who would be part of World War III though? You know, if you say World War III, because no war has been fought on American soil.
That's what's going to make That's what will make World War III so significant. That it will be the first non-civil conflict on American soil. Because with America being the preeminent superpower, what happens when the top guy gets taken down violently in any organization? There's a power vacuum.
Okay.
So you got the European hegemony on the West that's been at odds and ends with America because they've pretty much had to go in with us on all these missions in the Middle East and Africa, and they ain't been reaping none of the benefits. If anything, all of the shit that we've been doing in the Middle East and Africa has flooded their borders with immigrants. So ain't no love lost there, despite the, how shit appears and everything being peaceable. You got shifty ass Russia that always serves the best interests of Russia in the West, and you got China and you got India vying for Africa.
It's gonna be America versus everybody in a minute.
Because America has played big brother to everybody that didn't even want a big brother, and also America has made a lot of enemies because America is just a bunch of assholes trying to enforce American law on other fucking countries.
Village.
Yeah, and I can understand if it does end up in a massive war, but them coming over here would be interesting to see because I don't think that's plausible for motherfuckers to fight on American soil. It never happened.
This is why I say if the Civil War is already ongoing,
you saying we got infighting, so we're gonna be vulnerable?
yes.
Okay.
Because we're too busy killing
Each
our
other.
own
Yeah.
to see the bigger play.
Yep. And then, if the military, if there's a civil conflict at home, the military worldwide would be called back home. So all those bases, all those assets and all that shit unprotected. So the minute that America has to call all their niggas home, all those niggas that have been waiting for people to go away so they can get back to the fuck shit. But
Jesus Christ.
well, I guess we can end the show on a light note in regards to first Bill O'Reilly and now my nigga Sean Hannity. As if getting your ass beat by Khalid Abdul Muhammad eons ago, and most recently Dan Rather calling you out for the shield that you are.
Of course.
Now she got some weirdo last names. It wasn't a liberal that called Sean Hannity out for sexual harassment. It was a conservative.
It was.
Even they getting tired with the shit.
But I mean, this is the culture at Fox News. The one dude that was Bill O'Reilly's protege that was he said everything but low key, Ivanka Trump looked like she got some fierce neckage.
Oh my God.
This nigga was talking saucy about how she was holding the mic close to her mouth and all this other shit. And yeah, he decided to take a leave of absence.
I wish I could. You know what? I wish after I say some fuck retarded shit that I can just take a leave of absence. You know what I'm saying? I could just be like, you know what? I said some shit. I'm not gonna say sorry. I'm gonna just go home for 3 weeks.
Just go home.
Still paid, but I'm gonna go home.
Just make sure that your people are suppressed and you pretty much step away from black people.
Yeah,
and you bow allegiance to the white man.
But next month, y'all niggas better be ready when I come back, cause I'm gonna say some more fuck shit that's worse than the fuck shit that I just said.
Yeah, but you know, they had to get him up out of there if they want to keep their good standing with Trump, because
Yeah.
he was coming in hot.
You just talking reckless.
He was talking reckless.
You just
on the
talking
check-in.
reckless about the president's wife.
And the
You see what happened to
Yeah,
Bow Wow?
I
You ain't heard about Bow Wow since.
Nah.
Well, kid, that's ooh. We might have to.
Somebody check on Bow Wow.
Somebody check on Bow Wow. You know, we gonna check on Bow Wow. We want to thank everybody for coming out and listening to us. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Any and all links to Hattage Underground. And until next time, this is the Mighty Meta Baron,
Voice the villain.
Carl Cutter.
and we are out.